The cloud, of course, is being used by more and more people and more of our gadgets as well. Our next guest is here to tell us how IBM's Smart Cloud is connecting users to their entertainment and even security. Welcome back to the program, General Manager for the Global Electronics Industry with IBM, Bruce Anderson. Bruce, welcome back. How are you?
Doing well, Dave. It's great to be back.
Understand that since we last spoke, you used to live in Chicago. Now you live in Shanghai, China. That's quite a leap, quite a jump.
It is, Dave, but what I've noticed is as the consumer electronics industry has shifted quite a bit, we're seeing more and more large companies in China. Obviously, we've had the Korean companies that have a very strong influence on the industry, but even beyond that now, we're seeing a lot of folks in Taiwan, but from China, it's very easy to jump over to my friends in Japan as well.
Very true, and having been there again just a little more than a month ago at Sino CES in Qingdao, we talked then about how flip over most consumer electronics, and they still say made in China. It's good to be close to where they are being made, and of course, typically designed elsewhere, especially in the U.S. and other places around the world where the engineers are putting it all together, but assembled and put together in that part of the world in Asia quite frequently. So being able to visit clients is important. So now your relocation, you'll probably speak fluent Chinese by the next time we see you.
More than likely. More than likely.
But now let's talk about the smart cloud. And IBM Smart Cloud is more and more discussion constantly these days about the cloud. And from a consumer standpoint, even it seems just backing up to the cloud has become such an incredibly important thing to do on a regular basis. But it's a whole lot more than just backup these days.
It is, Dave. You know, if you think about just the amount of data that's now flowing over the internet, we're now measuring that in exabytes.
Yeah.
We're measuring the number of devices connected to the internet. We think we're approaching 1 trillion. And then you start to think about the number of mobile phones out there right now. We think we're going to close in on 5 billion mobile phones here in the near future.
Wow, 4 billion of them are in China, as we discovered. But good point. They're just proliferating like we've never imagined at this point.
Yeah, they are. And so, when we start to think about things about how all of these devices can work together, it really becomes almost like a spaghetti diagram of all the different connections going back and forth. And we believe that the cloud has a big role to play in what we call the Internet of Things. As we look at devices that are really for a single purpose, say your mobile phone to do text and voice and maybe watch a little bit of video, the real question is, since it knows where you're at, what else can you do with that kind of information? Where else can a device really simply relay information, then follow your instructions that you gave it previously? So let's say you're driving home and you're starting to get a little bit closer and using a cell tower, we know exactly where you're at. What would you like to happen in your home at that point? Do you want to have to stop the car and start to work on an app and adjust your heat and do all those other things that you'd like done before you enter the home, or do you want those things to start to happen automatically?
Ooh, like maybe geofencing?
Exactly.
Kind of determines how far away from home you are. So now put the air conditioning the way you want it and turn on certain lights and that sort of thing.
Exactly. So you're approaching. You'd like the garage light to be on, so you've got some safety and security applications in there. You'd like the window shades to open so you can see if there's anyone waiting in there for you. Yeah. You'd like the lights on inside. You might want the heat adjusted. You might want the radio on. Who knows? And so by having those devices connected to the cloud and then adding into this the mobile capabilities of one of our partners, Vodafone, IBM is actually demonstrating now how Vodafone can use its machine-to-machine technology, actually connect that to the applications that are operating in the home. And actually enable all those services for the consumer.
And of course, the only issue that we've seen with the cloud is that you've got to have connectivity all the time, which pretty much we do, and especially with good carriers. You mentioned Vodafone and others that are working to stay connected, keep you connected. But aside from natural disasters, you generally don't have to worry too much about losing that connectivity.
Yeah, and I think as you look at that feature of it, there's not only the connectivity but also the privacy side of it as well. Sure. You really want to make sure that it's done in a very secure environment. And so is IBM fairly well known for its focus on safety, security, things like that.
Fairly
privacy,
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've worked very closely with these partners to make sure they've been able to engineer these things into their services. So again, leveraging the IBM cloud, Vodafone is announcing some services that they'll be taking to market to allow consumers to actually control devices using the IBM Smart Cloud.
And with only half a minute left, I just wanted to make sure and get this in too. You talk about watching TV from the cloud, and there are some benefits to doing that. Real quick, what can you share with us about that? Because that opens up a whole lot of possibilities.
It really does. So, when you think about the number of providers out there who want to provide content, there have been a whole number of them that want to appear on multiple different television platforms. It's been very difficult because very often they have to change their content to appeal to each and every single different television platform that's out there.
Yeah.
Using the IBM Smart Cloud, we've been able to create a very common way for them to deal with multiple television platforms out there. So we're seeing a lot of content providers take advantage of that. So IBM is the technology behind the recently announced Smart TV Alliance, which includes not only Philips, but also LG and Sharp.
Terrific. Bruce, always a pleasure to chat with you. Always new things to talk about. So keep us informed and in the cloud in many ways.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Our pleasure. IBM.com for more, and of course, intotomorrow.com, where you'll see the video of all of our interviews on the program this week and next from IFA in Berlin, Germany. And we invite you to check out all of our guest sites for more information. Don't go away.